Gentlemen, after much research, investigation, thought, meetings with various people, discussions with various government departments, and so on, I've decided not to start a ladyboy brothel here in Melbourne. I want to take you through the reasons why I've decided not to go into this business, despite me being very well positioned to start a business of this type, given my experiences in Thailand with ladyboys, my understanding of transgender issues, and my non-criminal, completely clean and unblemished good guy background. Looking closely at the reality of opening a legal ladyboy brothel in Melbourne, I've come to the conclusion that operating a business of this type legally could ruin me financially. It seems a ridiculous thing to say, but that's the conclusion I've come to based on my research. So how could operating a ladyboy brothel here ruin me? It's all about compliance with the law of Victoria. If I want to operate legally, which I would, there are a whole host of things I would need to ensure that I'm compliant with, and a whole host of government departments that would have their greedy hands out to take money from me. And importantly, these costs do not apply to illegal operators on Backpage.com that are undercutting the legal market, making it a very difficult market to compete in as a legal operator. Here are just a few of the agencies who would either milk me dry or be watching me like a hawk as a legal brothel operator. The Australian Tax Office, the Australian Child Support Agency, the Australian Immigration Department, the Australian Police, the Australian Federal Police, the Brothel Licensing Authority, and the local council. Well, you know what, gentlemen? I don't want these agencies, except for paying my fair share of tax, of course, and I don't want them to be a part of my life. Screw them. Trying to compete with the illegal operators is not a financially feasible business due to the high level of red tape. Check out this article on the Courier Mail about a brothel that went under due to compliance costs. I did make up a comprehensive business plan, and the costs to get the brothel off the ground were around 100,000 Australian dollars. The economics of the business do look good until you start really drilling down on the costs to run the business, and most importantly, the fact that I could not offer my clients a greater experience than they can currently get by visiting prostitutes that are operating illegally via Backpage.com made me really pause and double think getting involved. The business would be profitable based on the figures I've researched, but it seems a lot of effort and compliance to make a profit, which at the end of the day could be less than the amount I'm currently earning as a computing professional. In other words, I'm better off continuing to work in computing and sticking to my knitting, so to speak. I'm not going to go into any business which makes less and brings more headaches than it's worth, without appropriate high levels of compensation for the high level of risk. It's just not worth it to me. Anyway, last Saturday, I technically broke the law. It's the first time in my life I've consciously done this. I visited a ladyboy who was here in Australia on a student visa who's selling her intimate services and operating illegally from a residential location. I found her on Backpage.com. I paid her for sex in her tiny apartment, her unlicensed brothel establishment. Usually I'm a very law-abiding citizen, but in this particular case I felt I needed to put myself in the shoes of a potential brothel client to see if the non-legal alternative is a better experience than the legal one, and I can categorically say that it was indeed a better experience. It was a better experience because I was dealing directly with the ladyboy. It was better as I could relax in her company at her apartment. I could bring over some drinks if I wanted to, have a meal with her, have the girl for an experience, and so on, without her being under the control of a brothel operator who, due to the strict laws and regulations here in Victoria, would need to ensure that everything is 100% compliant due to being watched and governed so closely by the aforementioned government agencies. That, of course, detracts a lot from the intimate experience we men seek from providers. Another issue is it's illegal to drink alcohol in a brothel in Victoria. I see that as a huge problem. Alcohol adds so much to the nighttime experience. Think about Thailand, for instance, and the fun we've all had there at the bars. Not being able to drink in a brothel here really does suck big time. I believe Thailand has the business model operating the right way, giving the customers what they want. It's here that it's so screwed up due to too much government regulation and not giving the customers what they really seek. So the bottom line is this. If I opened a legal ladyboy brothel here in Melbourne, I would be offering a poorer experience to my clients at a higher price. This is obviously not a viable business value proposition long term. I could actually offer a much better experience at a lower price by operating an illegal brothel, as I could sell clients what they really wanted in that environment: alcohol, good conversation, sex, and intimacy. It wouldn't take long, however, before I would be shut down, become a convicted criminal, and my reputation and life ruined if I tried this due to the long arm of the law in Australia. We're under a lot of control in this country, and we're certainly overgoverned. Despite being a great place to live, we are perhaps the most overgoverned country on earth. There was a brothel madam in Sydney who was recently shut down for operating an illegal brothel, the elusive Madam Suki Wu. I posted the article link in the description to this video. She was making $2 million a year in turnover, and as you can see from the video, she had a revolving door of men coming and going at all hours in the residential building she was operating out of. News reports say she had 5 female sex workers providing services to 59 male clients over an 11-hour shift. Street-smart operators from Asia like Wu, with knowledge and experience in the sex industry, can make a fortune here operating illegally. A friend of mine has a great quote: "The more dysfunctional a society, the more money the sex industry will make." Australia, just like the United States, has a large number of middle-class men that are living miserable lives behind respectable facades.
What the hell do you think you're doing?
The film American Beauty was a big hit for a reason, you know. Whenever you hear about so-called dodgy operators, illegal operators, and women like the elusive brothel madam Suki Yu, think about black markets. Always consider the reason black markets exist in the first place: government interference in the marketplace. Australia, for instance, has a thriving black market in illegal cigarettes. Why is that? It's because the price of cigarettes in Australia is ridiculously high, and therefore there's a huge incentive for smokers to pay less to cigarette smugglers who import cigarettes from low-cost countries like China and Thailand. A packet of cigarettes can cost as little as 20 cents in China, and a shipping container load costing $200,000 in Asia can make $4 to $5 million for smugglers in Australia, according to the tobacco industry. That's a huge financial incentive for smugglers. Smokers can save a lot of money by turning to the illegal market. I'm an ex-smoker myself. I gave up when I was 22 years old. One of the best moves I ever made, that's for sure. Saved me a lot of money and my health as well. My father actually died of smoking-related causes. He was a lifetime pack-a-day smoker. I want my research into the brothel business to provide some value, so here's my tip to my bar-owning friends in Pattaya to generate some additional revenue. Seriously consider selling some extras at your bar. You know, when you go to a service station, how the place is stacked full of stuff like soft drinks, ice creams, chocolate bars, cigarettes, coffee, snacks, and biscuits. That's because these products sell very well and they have high profit margins. You could try selling them at your bar. Popular chocolate brands like Mars, Kit Kat, Cadbury, Snickers, Cherry Ripe and cigarettes like Peter Jackson, Benson and Hedges, Marlboro, and so on. These may sell very well. That way you can get sugar high, an alcohol high, a nicotine rush, and a sex high from your bar experience. Perhaps consider adding coffee as well. Then you've got the caffeine high as well. All of these together is an unbeatable combination of rushes. Certainly more highs than the fun police in Australia could have operating under the one roof. Anyway, that's it from me. Until next time, all the best, gentlemen. I'm the Pretender.